What's up, everyone, and welcome into episode number 547, where it is my honor and privilege to introduce a special guest joining this episode, and that is lead prep wide receiver Rocko Arciero. How you doing, Rocco?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Really appreciate you joining. I know you just wrapped up in the fall your first season at lead prep. How's things going? I know you start spring ball here in a week. How excited are you to get back into the action a little bit?
I'm just pumped. I get to be back with my boys and get back to work. We got a lot of new guys coming in and also a lot of returners. So the building blocks are there. So you know, gonna be a fun spring ball, and I'm looking forward to how we do next year in the fall.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, being a prep school, do you have a lot of like turnover typically, or is it more like kind of like 50-50?
So we do have a lot of turnover. Like we recruit a lot of guys. So like for
Okay.
example, in our receiving room in the fall when I came in, we had like 23 guys. But a lot of people like the JUCO route isn't for everyone, and
Yeah.
or JUCO prep school, it's not for everybody. So that quickly dropped to like around 9
Okay.
uh before like the first or second game. So it starts off at an insane number, but then it just like it it decreases but while people just like realize that college football isn't really for everyone, and also finances and everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Also, obviously, being at a prep school, it's a little bit different. Like there might not necessarily be 100% like the financial backing, like you said. Like there might not be like kind of the really nice facilities. Like it's a little bit of like a grind, but that's what you're there for is to grind to make plays to get opportunities out for your school down the road.
Yeah, I mean, our facilities, we're at the Legacy Center in Brighton, so we have top notch facilities. Like the indoors, very nice. The equipment that we have is nice. We get provided all of us, we have speed flexes, some of us have axioms. Like
Love
it's
it.
top notch for like a prep school, honestly. And our weight room and our training staff is just absolutely fantastic. Our coaching staff, we have a lot of NFL talent. Like we have Denard Robinson
Oh,
as our like co head coach and also one of our offensive quarterbacks coach. Like we learn a
yeah.
lot from. We have on the defensive end, we have Ronald Talley, who played for the Packers.
Okay.
Also our defensive line has that like intensity that he brings every day. And then we also have just our head coach, Coach Greeno. He just knows so much
Yeah.
about football. He came over from Dearborn High, just knows everything, like recruiting wise, um, play play style wise. Like he just makes schemes and everything to accommodate to his players.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously, Denard Robinson was a quarterback. He obviously worked a little bit more with the quarterbacks, but how like fun is it to kind of have a coach like him that obviously had kind of the career he had at Michigan and just really the overall knowledge he has of the college football landscape. Even though it's a little bit different than what he played back then, it's still like probably pretty cool to have a coach like that 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 has had a ton of success back when he played.
Yeah, he really just keeps it realistic with us. If we're slacking off in practice, he's gonna tell us it's not good enough. Like,
Yeah,
if we are not executing to the level of where our goal is, which is to get scholarships and to, compete at the highest level that each one of us know that we are able to, that's why we took the, prep school JUCO route.
yeah,
He's gonna tell us, he's gonna tell us straight. He also he nitpicks everything, like, the finest detail to, like, really help us and like improve our skills so we are prepared for when we go into a 4 year or
yeah.
wherever we end up next.
Is that a little bit different than maybe what you had in high school? Like a little bit more of like the small details that kind of get picked on a little bit, like really like making sure that you have to be doing the small things right in order to be successful.
Yeah, in high school, it's really different because each one of the kids that like, you're playing college football, so you're one of the best players on your team in high
Yeah,
school. So it's like they let you get away with more. When you come into any university, even if it's JUCO or prep school or 4 year, doesn't matter what division. they're gonna nitpick you. You gotta play your best. They want everything down to the finest detail, to close as perfection as you can get, because if
Yeah.
you're not going to do that, a guy behind you will. So, they're really just trying to, drill that into our heads that, like, the little details matter. In high school, you could goof off in practice. In college, you can goof off a little bit, but when it's time to work, it's time to work. I mean, I feel like that's the biggest, difference between high school and college.
And how quickly did it take you to like learn that to kind of like get into kind of the minute details of things? And then why did you end up going the prep route? Because the prep route isn't necessarily something that a lot of people talk about or even consider doing outside of high school.
Yeah, so, I decided to go the prep route because my, one, I wasn't happy with my offers. I had a handful of, D3s, NAIA, and then I had, Division II interests, and I was talking to some other smaller, like, Division ones, but it just never really went anywhere. Um, so I went the prep route because, one, it, doesn't affect your year, so it's, like, basically like a JUCO. Like, I didn't affect my eligibility. I still have my 4 years in a red shirt, so
Yeah.
basically I reclassed to the class of '26 eligibility-wise, but I still get that college experience. And then, it took me about, like, a week or 2 into summer camp into, like, adjusting. I'd even say 3 weeks because, I come from high school where we didn't really pass the ball that much, and, like, when we did, like, I was getting the ball, like, I was the main guy, and, I had to, like, really step back and, like, look because we had, like, 3 groups. I would be in between group 2 and group 3 when I thought, like, I wanted to be in group 1, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's because I just wasn't paying attention to the little things. I still thought, I was bigger than, or what our coach says, bigger than the program. And, quickly after like 2, 3 weeks, I bought in, I put my head down and then I got started getting, first team reps.
Was there like a specific like moment that really truly had you buying in, or was it more of just like you truly wanted to get first team reps and you knew that in order to do that you had to lock in? Like, was there kind of like a welcome to college like moment for you, like that really truly kind of like made you realize like, okay, like this is different?
Yeah, so I'm gonna name 2 moments. So the first moment was like the second week. We were doing warm ups, and Coach Greeno, he wants us to like sound like a team, be a team. We're supposed to say clap and say win. You know, we weren't getting that. We were like crossing the line early. Like not everyone was in sync. So he got us all there. He was just talking to us, and Coach Greeno, like when he's like speaks, like it hits home. Like he gets
Yeah.
us all going. And it's honestly like that moment really got me like going. I was like, yeah, this is for real. And then also our first real conditioning day. So Coach Greeno, he doesn't like conditioning us. He wants us to get work. But when we were slacking off, we were not having a good day. Uh we were doing some heavy conditioning, like nothing compared to high school.
Okay.
And so he was just, he kept saying, college football isn't for everyone. The garage door is open because we have like a big garage door in our field house.
Yeah.
Anyone can walk out if you're not bought in or, built for this. So like I really had to like it was really hard. There was like some moments when I was like we had to do like 150 push-ups and like we were like not even near 100. I'm like, yeah, I'm not built for this, but like, it's just in the back of your mind, you just got to like kick that on. And that's when I
Yeah.
really like locked in and I was like, yeah, I can do this. I'm bought in. Like, this is going to make me better. So,
Yeah, it's one of those things that truly tests you and truly like, do you care? Do you love football? And really that's what college football is about is like, one, do you love the grind of it? Because it's not always going to be fun. Like you specifically said, kind of those conditioning that you guys had to do, obviously the leading up to the first game. It's not always fun. You have to grind for it. You have to be given an opportunity. And once you're given an opportunity, you truly have to taken kind of being a 6'6" wide receiver. You don't see a lot of wide receivers that tall, and that's going to be something that is extremely um important to an offense and something that a lot of coaches really want.
Yeah.
How have you been able to kind of use your frame a little bit? And how have you kind of been able to navigate a little bit of that wide receiver room to truly kind of, again, not only take that first team reps, but kind of evolve your game a little bit more than just being a quote unquote like jump ball wide receiver? Because most people will think a 6'6" wide receiver is just a jump ball wide receiver.
Yeah, and in high school, that's majority, like, what I was. But I use my, like, frame, my skill set also in blocking. I'm a very physical receiver. I mean, if that's what a lot of, like, coaches when I was getting recruited coming out of high school, that's one of the things that they, like, saw, was my speed, my size, and also my physicality when I'm going into blocking. I'm basically, like, tight end, like, I have a tight end, like, body, and like, height and size, but I'm just, like, in receiver speed and also, like, with my ability to, like, make plays on the ball. So, I really, utilize, like, my height, uh, with the jump ball stuff, but, I also use my speed, 'cause I do got a little bit of wheels. I'm not no slot receiver, but, I got a little bit of wheels, but, once I hit that second level, I get going, and it won't look like I'm moving, but I'm I'm moving. We had that a few times in practice. People would say that, but, um, I just besides using my size for, jump ball, it's just blocking, uh, running my routes. It's harder for me to, be a route technician. I just gotta
Yeah.
run it as best as I can. I've practiced before, like, all of us receivers would go in just running up and down the field, just practicing, simple in and out cuts, slant cuts, like, you know, all the different kind of, like, routes that we would run in our, concepts
Yeah.
and just perfect them. And I would really have to focus on getting lower because, I'm higher up than everyone else. So, yeah.
Exactly. It truly seems like you've obviously found a way to kind of like not only develop obviously like your routes. Like you said, you're not necessarily going to be like a route technician, like you're not going to be necessarily like a slot receiver, but you've also kind of realized like the importance of kind of like being able like to control what you can control, like control your body, make the right plays, run the routes as best as possible. But you also have the part of blocking. Right. It truly seems like you take pride in blocking, and that's something that you don't see a ton of wide receivers talk about, but like blocking's huge, especially coming probably from a high school, like you said, that didn't throw the ball very much.
Yeah, I come from a South Line. We're big on wing T. We got a good rich history. They did really well this year, but we are a run first. I mean, that's really all. We didn't really practice, catching passes. We would, but it was mainly blocking. I'd be with the O linemen, tight ends. I'd be blocking
Yeah.
my butt off. And I really took pride in that because when I was going through the recruiting process, even like before I was at lead, like, coming out of high school, like, that's the one thing the coaches were saying is that, like, I just have this, like, physicality that they haven't seen from receivers, and I just take so much pride in, like, I just love blocking because even though it's like I'm not getting the ball, I still get to put my head into somebody and, slap pads with them. I
Yeah.
had a lot of pancakes this year. I mean, I'm just a very physical receiver, and I love to block, and that's what a lot of college coaches that's why when they watch my film, that's what they say. It's one of the main things.
Do you think that's made it a little bit easier to kind of transition to lead prep a little bit? Because for a lot of like colleges, like you specifically said, it's the importance of blocking. Like you want to make plays, you obviously want to have catches, you want to be involved. But if you don't block properly, you're not going to get an opportunity for the most schools.
Yeah, if you don't so if the coaches see that you're like, uh, you know, going half speed when you're blocking, you're not really putting in effort, they're not gonna wanna throw you the ball.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I really like. That's also another motivation for me. If I make a block, if I pancake this kid, if I, like, kick this guy out the end zone, like, they're gonna see that, and they're gonna wanna throw the ball my way. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta earn the ball, basically. That's what in our receiving room in high school and also at lead, that's kinda like what we had to do. Even though the ball's not coming our way, we still gotta do our jobs. Like, 11 guys on the field gotta be doing their jobs and executing at
Ex-
a high.
Exactly. Is it a little bit nicer playing a little bit more of an offense that throws the ball than maybe what you're used to, though? That has to be a little bit more
Yeah.
fun being a wide receiver.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot more fun because the funny thing is I've never been a screen kinda guy, and I got a couple tunnel screens this year. That was a lot of fun, you know? Usually, I'm more of a deep ball guy. I mean, I
Yeah,
still got to run those deep ball routes, but, like, it was just cool that they got, like, everybody involved in the offense. Like,
yeah,
I ran a lot of new, like, concepts that I've never been, like, comfortable with or even, like, new to. And, I just learned to be comfortable in the uncomfortable situation and take every opportunity I got with the ball for granted. And even though I was probably one of the bottom of like, the receiving chart. We had some playmakers in our receiving room, but like,
yeah.
you know, it's still, it was a good feeling that being in an offense that passes the ball more than run, or it was more like an even split. But I mean, coming from a wing T offense, there's nothing better than that.
Exactly, but obviously that's going to help kind of having those different routes that you're running. Obviously, you talk a little bit more about screens than throwing it downfield. Do you still prefer the jump balls a little bit, or now that you kind of have a little bit of that screenplay action, you're like, you know what? I kind of like that. I kind of like getting the balls in my hand and just let's see what I can do with my feet.
I do like the deep balls more because it's more of a
Okay.
like one-on-one or one-on-two. In high school I would have, safety in the corner over, but you
Yeah.
know, I like that like one-on-one, like because for me there's not a lot of DBs that can really get to where I'm getting up to,
Yeah.
even if they are like 6 foot 6'1", like I still have that reach on them. Um
Exactly.
I did like the screens, but, like, it just I didn't really have the timing right. It's a lot of
Ah.
timing thing, and if a
Yeah.
lineman misses a block, then the play's dead. So, I like the deep ball better because it's more of me, it's something that I can control besides the
Yeah.
quarterback throwing the ball. It's just something that I can control.
And also, there's no better feeling than mossing the corner either.
Yeah, there is no better feeling or slipping a tackle and then breaking it for, like, 60 yards. That's always a good feeling.
Absolutely. And those are obviously cool opportunities. Those are things that you obviously got to experience at Lead. You're obviously going to experience it next year as well. But I want to talk a little bit more about your experience at Lead Prep because you guys have had the opportunity to travel to a lot of different games and gotten the opportunity to go to a lot of different places. Talk about what that travel was like and just kind of the experiences you had with your teammates and just how much it made you guys closer.
Yeah, so our first travel experience, we went to Wheeling in West Virginia. That was about a 6-hour bus ride. That was absolutely brutal. We ended up leaving late, so we had to get there, get off the bus. We had like an hour between game time and travel time, so we were all tired, like jet
Oh yeah,
lagged. I mean, after the first game, like the Wheeling game, it kind of woke us up. We got our butts kicked.
yeah,
Um, you know, it was humbling because, we came off of our week 1 win against, another prep school that wasn't as talented or as deep as we were. So we were coming in there like, all pumped up and everything, but, it was a good ground to earth, like, moment. But
yeah,
after the, Wheeling game, we traveled to Tiffin, and we just traveled better, like, we learned how to, deal with, like, getting off the bus and then playing. Like, what our coach Greeno like, I'm gonna quote what our coach Greeno said. He says, "We do things the hard way, and that's how we want it."
yeah,
Like, the Tiffin athletes, the Wheeling athletes, they just wake up and they are there. We gotta wake up at, like, 5:30 in the morning, leave, and then get off the bus and play in an hour and a half, and then get back on the bus and do it all over again. And then we're back
yeah,
at practice the next morning. So, it was a really good experience because I got that travel experience, and I know how to travel. Like, I'm very prepared, I know what to do, like, I know how to occupy myself, I know how to get in that mindset, and also not have the jet lag, uh,
yeah.
bother me.
I'm assuming you listen to quite a bit of music prior to the games and travel.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
What's your playlist? What do you listen to?
So, before I came to lead, it was a lot of like I would listen to like some old school rock, like
Okay, love it.
but as I was playing with my JUCO teammates, um, it started becoming more of NBA YoungBoy. They just put me on to more like rap stuff,
Yeah.
which totally fine with because like I used to listen to that, but they just like deep in my bag. But a lot of it started to become NBA YoungBoy. I mean,
Okay.
and then I would also say I like to listen to a lot of Polo G, so he's
Okay.
got some good songs, but mainly NBA YoungBoy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm assuming a lot of the people on the bus, a lot of people on that trip would be wearing headphones, just listening to music, but also obviously connecting with each other throughout the process as well. What
Yeah.
was your favorite game to travel to? Like, what was your favorite location?
Army 100%. So we had to take a 12-hour bus ride up to West Point. That was honestly one of the coolest experiences that I've experienced as an athlete. We got to stay in the hotel, and I was staying in the hotel with my teammate MJ, and we were just having a blast. And also the bus ride there, like I was sitting next to my friend Chris, and we were just cracking jokes.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. We were watching shows. It was just really funny. Like it's just that entire bus ride was just basically while we were going there. It was like by the time like we got into New York, we were like locked in. But like when we were a couple states away, it's
yeah,
always fun to connect with your teammates and your coaches because at the rest stops, we talked to our coaches and everything. It was just a very good team bonding moment. And I honestly, after that game, I felt like I was closer with the boys, and also like understanding that like the stage and like where I wanted to be at after playing.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what those are supposed to be for. Is like supposed to like connect. Obviously, once you get close enough, you're supposed to lock in. But like that's what travel is for: is to connect, get to know your teammates, obviously bond. I know throughout the season, you guys obviously did that. You mentioned going to West Point. That was kind of the time you truly kind of like got really like locked in, kind of get to know everyone. Just how fun was it to play Army? Like for a lot of people, like just kind of like the location, the school, like it's just such a unique opportunity and such a unique school that had to be really cool to be able to play there.
yeah. It was honestly one of the coolest experiences. Like the campus there is absolutely beautiful. Like just seeing the
Yeah,
mountains and everything. The stadium was just breathtaking. Like you know, it really like made you sit and think. Like it was a little bit of a like I this is where I want to be. Like this is the stage where I have to be competing. This is the level I have to be competing. And when the game started, like I started to realize like with the DBs wise, like I could hang with these guys. Like you
yeah.
know, I'm just as strong as them. I'm just as fast as them, and I had the height advantage. So it really like opened my eyes to like, hey, like this is actually doable if I really love football and if I really put the time and work into it.
Yeah, it's motivating, right? Like as the season goes on, the more comfortable you get, the more teams that you face, you realize, hey, like what do I need to work on? What do I need to get better at? What am I good at? And are these places that I could play in the future? And obviously, speaking of the future, I know you're eventually going to have to lead prep. What do you think the most improved part of your game has been because of that? And how are you going to continue to grow in your game to eventually get ready to leave the school?
Um, I would have to say it's getting off the ball speed. I used to be very slow. You now see in my film that I'm very explosive off the ball at the snap. Also, my catching traffic. Uh, really learned how to like focus while being in contact with defenders, and also just like my blocking as well. Even though my
Yeah.
blocking was above average for a receiver, I really honed in, like really listened to what our receivers coach, Coach Jake, fantastic receivers coach, told me. Like just I paid attention to every little detail. I paid attention to the older guys that are D1 bounce backs that are also fighting to get back there. Like I just was like a sponge. I took in all the information that I could, and I became overall just a better football player, blocking, catching, and just getting off the ball speed.
Yeah, because those guys have been through it. And obviously, like you're saying, like the goal is to eventually get beyond lead. If that means D3, if that means D2, if that means D1, that's the ultimate goal that you have, which is the reason why you went to lead prep originally, is to get another year, to get more opportunities down the road, and to get opportunities to play exactly where you wanted to play at. And I know that you're going to get those opportunities. I know that you're extremely excited for the spring football. It's
Yep.
just crazy. It's just crazy that spring camp is coming around, and then next thing you know, you have fall camp, and then you're at games again. How excited are you to kind of get back to football and kind of get to hopefully a future opportunity here in the next year or two?
I'm beyond excited. I've been talking with my boys for like the past like month. Like we're all getting pumped. We found out the new concepts that we're running in our meetings that we do on Zoom. It's just there's a lot of excitement for this year because we're going into year 3 of the program. So
Yeah,
we are the building blocks, but we have a really good foundation, especially since last year. We have a lot of people coming back, a lot of good players. All the coaches are coming back. We know the system,
good.
we know how to travel, and we're just gonna keep building off that, and we have something special building. At Lead Prep, like my coach said, we're gonna become one of the premier prep programs in
Yeah.
America. We're gonna be put on the map. It's just, we're the building blocks.
And it has to be unique to be a part of a program that's heading into a third year, right? Like you're talking about, like these are the building black moments. It's about getting better every single year. And you guys are returning some guys from last year. You're bringing some new guys in. You're going to probably be one of the more experienced ones next year. You're going to have to kind of be probably a leader in that wide receiver room. And it sounds like you're really excited about the opportunity. I'm sure that you're going to probably take that and run with it and hopefully have a great year this upcoming season.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with what you said. I am very excited for it to come back and also to be a leader in the receiving room and on the team. I'm very vocal. Um, so I'm just very excited to get back to work with my guys and also get to know the new guys. We got a lot of transfers that come in that weren't happy like at their situations or they just want a shot to play football again. And we're just really excited to, get to work with them, especially in the receiving room. Like
Yeah,
we got a lot of great guys, a lot of experience. I'm very excited to, get back to work with all my boys and all the new guys too, and get to know them and create bonds and memories with them.
exactly. Get back to the grind, get back to the love of football, get back to hopefully an opportunity to play in the future. I truly do hope you're able to achieve that dream, playing in either D3, D2, D1. I really do hope you get that opportunity. I definitely think you will. But to kind of wrap up the podcast before I let you go, what does playing football mean to you, and just how much has football like impacted your life, and how much has it shaped who you are today, and how much do you hope it continues to shape you for the next 3 or 4 years after league?
Football for me is like everything. It's my life. For me, it's a goal to just keep improving, like because it
Yeah,
just shows that like hard work really pays off and you really do improve. Um, it's just, you know, my driving factor when I play football is just to become the best version of a football player and also of a man myself.
yeah,
That's also what our coaches really drill in. Like they want us to be the best football player, but they also want to be the best person. So
yeah.
to me, football is just the building steps to becoming a functioning uh, member of society, along with just my escape from reality. Sometimes, if you're having a bad
Yeah.
day, you get to go fly around and pop somebody, and it's just honestly, it's a stress reliever, but it's also my motivation to get better and also to achieve my dreams in school and on the football field.
Exactly. And that's the thing I love about sports is it gives you those opportunities to get to chase the dream that you have, but also teaches you so much to prepare you outside of football, prepare you for life. And it seems like Lead Prep is doing a great job doing that. It seems like it's preparing you for whatever college is ahead. I truly do hope you're able to achieve your dream. I truly do hope you have a great upcoming season, and hopefully we can have you maybe back on in the future whenever you're repping another school, whatever school that might be. But truly, really appreciate you joining. Really hope it was worth your time, and honestly, best of luck this upcoming season. Best of luck in your football career. I know you're going to do great things. I know you love this sport. I know you're going to put a ton of effort into it. So really appreciate you joining.
Thank you, and I appreciate you having me on. It was a blast.
Absolutely. And that is a wrap to episode number 547. Thank you again to Rocko for joining, and tune in to the next episode.